An anti-crime task force investigation leading to the arrest of an Athol couple after a person overdosed at one of their homes. It's unclear when the overdose occurred, but the investigation revealed the defendant, 40-year-old Erica Adams, continued selling narcotics after the overdose. Her boyfriend, 36-year-old Jason Maxim, joined her in the trafficking days later. Adams faces up to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to possession with intent to distribute cocaine, trafficking cocaine and fentanyl, and 2 counts of conspiracy to violate the drug law. Maxim faces 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to the same charges except for trafficking fentanyl.